So what's up, guys? Matt from BAAM Ranch. Today I got for you 5 tasks for preparedness and survival that you can start this week. Simple things to do. You notice I didn't say easy, I said simple things. Some of them you'll be able to complete by the end of the week, the next 7 days. Some of them it's going to take you a little bit longer than that, but there's no reason why everyone watching this shouldn't already have these things or be able to get these things, or at least expand on the things that they already have. So if you'll do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button and all the other stuff down below that the people on YouTube ask you to do, we'll get started. So first thing, excuse me, I can't talk. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go through our bug out bag. If you don't have a bug out bag, get one. I'm assuming that you already do. And whenever we go through that bag, let's think about it as not necessarily this hiking through the woods and going and survive the apocalypse in the middle of nowhere. Think of it more as like a refugee bag. And from that, let's look at it like a 3-day overnight bag. So this is what we're going to use. Got microphone cables everywhere. This is what we're going to use if, say, you're going to have to go stay with grandma for the weekend. And grandma doesn't have a lot of money. She doesn't really have a lot of food to spare, but we're going to have to go stay with her for a few days. And, we're going to need to take what we need. We're going to need to take some clothes. We're going to need to take some food. Because in reality, this is what we're going to be using our bug out bag for. Have I used my bug out bag? Yeah, I have. Not once has it been for, going and surviving in the woods until the paratroopers stopped coming in. It's because something was going on where I lived and we just needed to go stay with the in-laws. Or we had to book a hotel for the night because there was something going on, and that survival, tactical stuff. Yeah, that's important to have in there, but I want you to look at it as an unplanned 3-day overnight bag. So take care of that. And while you're in there, why did you even bother to build a bug out bag if you haven't thought about where you're going to go? I just named you a couple places that we already have plans for. One, first and foremost, is, like to the in-laws' house or, to other families' house just because we need to get away from where we're at for the moment. Or, the having a credit card that you can book a hotel room when something comes up. So figure out where you're going to go, because that's actually more important than the bag itself. The second one, 2 weeks of food and water. Can you expand your food and water storage by 2 weeks? This is incredibly easy to do. It doesn't cost much money. It doesn't take up much space. If you just go to the store and get a 50-pound bag of rice and a 50-pound bag of beans, and you put that in buckets. Buckets hold about, 5-gallon buckets will hold about 30 pounds apiece. If you just bucket that stuff up, hey, I think that counts. And you're not out a whole lot of money. As far as the water, as we've discussed before, is one of the more difficult things to store. Everybody talks about, 1 gallon per person per day. And if you're stranded in the wilderness and a plane crashed and you're just out here on an island somewhere and all you're looking to do is to not finish the dying process before somebody comes and rescues you, 1 gallon is going to be a minimum of what you're going to need. But in actual living of life, it's going to be more like 3 to 5 gallons. And you got to think, with all the stuff that goes along with that, you got to clean up, you got to, all the sanitation stuff and everything, all this freeze-dried food that requires water to cook. Everything that we use, flushing toilets and all of that stuff, all of that is going to require water. So rather than figure out how to store that much water, let's look at how are we going to replenish the water when we run out. If you don't really have much water storage at all, one of those big, what is it, like 48 bottle cases that you pick up at, Walmart or, Costco, Sam's Club, whatever, those big bulk packs of water, get 1 or 2 of those per person in your household. Or if you expect other people to come, like we pretty well know that if something weird happens, my sister-in-law is going to be over at the house. So we're going to have 1 or 2 cases of water for her as well. That's what I got for that. Let's move on to fuel. Fuel, man. I don't know what it is that's so hard about fuel. I struggle with it. I hate to admit that I struggle with it, but keep your tank halfway full. Once you get down to a half tank, top off your fuel. I'm pretty good about it, but now and then, like as I'm recording this video, it's actually, I'm sitting in the bed of the truck right now. Can y'all see me? Yeah, so I've got to go to the gas station on the way home after I'm done with this. But keep your tank half full. And then I want you to get some fuel cans, preferably 12 fuel cans. Mark them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1 for each month. Fill up 1 each month. And then whenever January comes, take that number 1 fuel can, dump it in the truck or the car or whatever, and refill it. Do the same with number 2 when February comes around. You get the point. That's going to keep plenty of fuel for most situations for you to run your car, run your generator, do all of the things that we need for fuel. That's going to keep you pretty good. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space. If you can't do 12, that's fine. I get it. Do 5. Do 1. Do something to bolster your fuel supply. And keep some of that stuff on hand, because we've all seen when the gas stations decide that they're just not going to have enough fuel for everybody that needs it. It's happened a lot. We all know it. All right, number 4. Nobody likes to talk about this one. Cash on hand. Having some cash, having some liquid cash that you can go do something with. Does this mean I need you to save up a couple grand? Yeah, it means that. But what's more important than that is to keep in mind that it's easier to earn an extra $2,000 than it is to save an extra $2,000. The minute I started realizing that it's easier to earn extra money than it is to save extra money, life got a lot easier for me, and trust me, everybody else that's in that whole money game as well. I'm not a rich person. I can't go and drop a ton of money. I'm a normal person just like you. But however, I do realize that it's easier to earn money than it is to save it. How much do you need to have on hand? I think forever and ever, people always, followed the $1,000 emergency fund. And I did too. That's not enough anymore. It's really not. Things are going to be mosquitoes, man. These things are pterodactyls. But I think a minimum of $1,000, like if you got under $1,000, you are in an SHTF situation right now. You need to get that. Where I would feel more comfortable having everybody in the world at is somewhere in the $2,000 to $3,000 range. Some of this is going to be dependent on, if you've got 6 kids, you're going to need more than that. If it's just you, $2,000 can probably fix most problems that are going to come up in your life. So get that, and then figure out how you're going to replenish that money. One of the things that I think everybody should do is probably read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. I read it, well, I don't read it, but I listen to it, as an audio book a couple times every year. And it was written, I think it was written like in the 20s. It's been around a while, but everything in it still is relevant today. So I don't know, I might even add that as like a bonus to this video. But let's face it, no matter what problem you come up against, no matter how bad everything collapses, wouldn't it be a lot better if you had whatever was going on plus a whole bunch of money sitting around? I mean, come on. Heard somebody talking somewhere. So get some extra cash on hand. All right, and the last one, this one kind of sucks too. Fitness. How are you going to carry your 60-pound bug out bag for 40 miles across the deserty jungle, you know, with piranhas and all this other stuff that we're going to go do at the end of the world, and carry your children on your shoulders and fight the demons and all of this other, you know, cool guy stuff that's gonna happen whenever we decide that it's time to bug out, you know, because the world ended. You're not going to be able to do any of that unless you have some level of physical fitness. It doesn't have to be a lot, but if you could work up a sweat every single day. Does that mean lifting weights? Maybe. Does that mean, you know, going on long marathon runs? Maybe. But I think as long as you put out some physical exertion each and every day, you know, some type of physical labor type strength. There's gym strength and working strength. And you see an old farm guy, man, he'll be this little bitty old cowboy and just be absolutely stupid kind of strong. That, you know, that physical labor type strength. Start doing some of that stuff. Try to develop that and get your physical fitness in check. Well, that's all I got for you today. But take care of those things, man. And, you know, I want to see, you know, I want to see everybody get better at everything. So take a look at these 5 things. You know, go through your bug out bag, your food and water supply, get some fuel, stack some cash, and do something to help your physical fitness. And I promise you, I will make this absolute promise. If you do an improvement on all 5 of these things, it's impossible for you to not have a somewhat better life at the end of that process and even during that process. Well, until next time, you guys be safe.